Like, tell your friends. Guess who's
And we're back. Okay, let me do my legal real quick. Hashtag domestic violence. Trigger warning for domestic violence. Talks about suicide, rape. What else, guys? What other trigger warnings do we need? You guys tell me for this episode.
porn addiction? I don't know. I was
Porn
pretty good.
addiction, whatever, all that. All right, so let's give a quick recap in case somebody starts this video. Who wants to do that?
Okay, so I think Karim was asking me the question. After everything, from what happened, from me being locked up, if I truly loved her, I think that's where we're kind of heading. Like, did I give her a new chance, right?
Yeah,
And
like
that's
why did you give her another chance after doing what she did?
that's a good question, of course. So,
Because the pussy was good.
well, not only that, but you have to
That's
take
part
it
of
from a
it.
different perspective. I'm just gonna talk purely about myself and sort of like how I grew up, right?
Yeah.
I've always kind of been like this sort of lone wolf in my entire life. I've always been alone. I didn't have a lot of friends, uh, which I never really mind. I was always at home. I was talking to people online, following yes theory, traveled around the world whilst I was at a fairly young age, and that's how I just became myself. And I was like, okay, being on my own. But then I met her, and we were friends for over a year. So my entire world vision shifted of like I'm gonna be alone. I can do this alone. I can take on the world alone. Shift to being like, hey, it's actually really nice to have somebody to talk to be with, and all that stuff. And then obviously in this entire year of being friends, things got also romantically, but we never really dated officially. And then at some point, this rape thing came along, and I was back to being the lone wolf. I was back alone again. Didn't have many friends. Was just alone again, and that feeling itself was just horrible to go through. You're alone again. You have to go out again and explore everything by yourself. You no longer have this person near you or with you that you could just talk to, and about whatever shit that could come to your mind, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking. The sharing is gone. And so after all these allegations, what? Why is my Siri talking? So after all this rape allegations, we weren't in contact for over a month, and it was actually at the point of
Wait,
where I was.
there were no charges filed, right? What happened with the legal there? You never.
So the only thing that I know so far is that they received a letter from court that there is a restraining order in place, but I never saw any documents of it myself.
Like
um,
now or back then?
Back then. So
And then
I
after all that, was there any charges or like everything was dropped?
no, everything was dropped due to lack of
And
evidence.
then you guys started dating for 2 years. Okay, continue. We have 30 minutes. You want to go to sleep, Marino?
Yeah, okay. So I was getting there. So after not seeing each other a month and finally being like, okay, I can finally move on now. I have put it to side. I can focus on myself, and we'll see where things headed. She suddenly calls me from somebody else's phone and saying like, hey, look, I want to talk to you. I really miss you, and I can no longer wait. Please, let's meet up somewhere and just have a chat. And that's when I had a really bad feeling because, like, internally, I thought, like, okay, if I'm going to do this, first of all, I don't want to get arrested because they clearly told me never come in contact with her, don't come near her. And then, secondly, I was with another girl hanging out at the moment that she texted me, and she was also warning me, Marino, careful because you might end up in really bad shit.
Oh,
But
really? So I wasn't the only one, eh?
no, there's been a couple of people that
How many? How many, Moreno? How many people?
well, we're not going to share this on air. I think we'll do this another time.
You can give a fucking number, bro. You better, or I'm gonna shut this whole shit down. How many people told you this bitch is bad news?
Probably over 10.
I should just shut it down, but I won't. Continue because I like Karim.
So,
Oh, that's so flattering of you, Bon.
You're so sweet.
anyway, so she contacted me. We eventually decided to meet up, and the click was just there of hanging around with each other again, and we really talked about everything. And she also apologized of what she did, and so that's why I thought, like, I like being with you. I had such a great connection with you as being friends. Okay, your love is now here. Apparently, she said, like, I've actually always loved you. I was just never ready to take that step. Then everything just got so out of hand, and I'm really sorry. And that's then, how everything went, basically.
And so you feel like when she said that and you decided to give things another shot, was it because you loved her, or you loved the feeling, or you loved the fact that for, I would say, the first time ever, that you didn't feel like you're a lone wolf?
So I obviously, when we started hanging out, like, I'm just gonna be straight up honest, I like had a really big crush on her from the beginning. So I mean, then finally, like, things fall into place as if God made a choice of her being again on my path.
Because
I
you
thought
know why? Slutty hoes are attractive, men and women.
I support that.
Slutty hoes are hot. Continue.
so. That's why I decided to go with my feelings, and my feelings are like, look, I genuinely love that girl. Like, can
Did you?
forgive some.
Did you
Yeah.
love her, or was it a full-on attachment situation, like a blind
No,
infatuation?
it was honestly true love, and I mean, you cannot explain love how it feels, but when it's real love. I mean,
Do
the
you?
feeling.
I can't wait to talk to you in 10 years.
Yeah, but by then I might be corrupted by all the bad shit in the world, right? But
No,
continuing,
I'm saying
it's
what I'm
that
saying
feeling
is
that you have of being with somebody that when you're hanging out, like, days just fly by, that you're dying to be with each other, to hang out, to do all kinds of
yeah,
stuff.
I had that with my COVID ex. But that shit was like, it's hot and heavy, and then it crashes and burns just as quick.
Probably, but no, just being relying on each other, and being there for each other, even through times that it was hard for her, because of studies that she was doing, or other stuff that was going on in her life. um you know just having the bond of, like, always being there for each other, even when shit goes to bad, still knowing, like, look, whatever's going on, we have survived a bunch of shit, we can survive this as well, and just planning the future.
Yeah. So
Hold on, pause. I have a question. Moreno, where did you learn to endure like that?
Could you rephrase it to an easier question?
No.
I'm not a native English speaker, please help the foreigner, thank you.
I was saying, where did you learn to endure hardships on yourself like that, to where then you're allowing it to happen in a relationship?
No idea. I mean,
I
I'm
feel like
always.
I feel like both of us needs another rephrase.
Okay, so what
Bonnie,
happens
things
is,
get better, thank you.
let me rephrase. Usually what happens is that people learn, whether in their parental relationships in childhood, with siblings, with cousins, whoever has a lot of access to them, they learn how to endure. If they get bullied a lot by an older sibling or something, or whatever, whoever, at school, at work, worldwide, at church, wherever the fuck, they learn to endure a lot, whether at home from parents or somewhere in the institution. So I guess my question to people when they're in these relationships where they put up with a lot of shit is, where did you learn to endure like that?
So where did I learn to just forgive her, and continue to just see the better in her? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I guess what I usually do with my clients is, when we're doing a little bit of therapy and it takes maybe sometimes a year, then we start to learn, like, oh, once upon a time in childhood, because there are no perfect family homes or schools or wherever, works, institutions, organizations, some shit happens. You get some sort of offense against you, some sort of perceived injustice. and then you have to grow thick skin, but then some people's skin gets so thick that they get abused a lot. So what I ask people is, after we do some therapy, is like, where did you first learn to do that? And you don't have to answer that now, but let's continue because I know you have to go to sleep.
Oh, don't worry. I mean, if it's 10 minutes later, I don't care. So I guess a response to your question, how do I put up with a lot of shit like this is, I mean, I came from a really good family, of course. I cannot complain about my family, but I've always distanced myself on purpose of attaching to people for some reason from when I was little. Like, hey, I like being near with you. I like to talk to you, but like, I'm also okay with like being gone in your life and not like get homesick as an example. You know, as long as I know you're fine and you're okay, I can live with that. I can move on. I can, do other shit and. So I guess just by being always deciding purposely to be alone and to do my own thing and find my own path from the very early beginning to when I was young to where I am right now is that's how I grew my skin and that's how I can adore a lot of shit. Things usually don't upset me. I don't often get really emotional involved in certain stuff, unless it's going to be super extreme. Um, I'm more of a person to avoid fights than to start fights. It's the character that I have. It's how I've.
And, is she more of a person to start fights than avoid fights? Because these two people usually are drawn together like moth to a flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she did like to have beef, not necessarily with me, but like in general, if she could have beef with somebody, just to ruin their day, she would jump on that trend like right away. I remember this one time.
And that again usually is some reenactment when you're had a chaotic childhood. It doesn't always have to be abusive, but
So if
sometimes it's
we can talk about our childhood, as far as what I know and learned about the 2.5 years I've been together, at a really young age, she used to get bullied really bad at school, like to the point that
yeah, that's a lot of people. But let's not talk about her because she's not here. Let's talk about you guys.
Yeah. So where were we? Next.
Yeah, so next question. Did you like ever fully like forgive her and trust her again, even after what happened and you finding out that she's texting other people?
Oh my God, Karim, you're gonna get a job on this show right now.
Damn, you've asked really spot on questions so far. So obviously, when trust is gone, it's really hard to regain it. So after the main thing of me figuring out that she was texting this one guy again, and she said all this horrible stuff, the way that I countered it was like, look, when I found out, I took her phone at night because I had like a hunch. I had a stomach feeling like there's something off. Like suddenly she's like leaning back when we're sitting in a car talking, and she's lowering her brightness on her phone and all that kind of tricks out of the book. And I had a feeling there's something was off. So at night when I checked her phone and I figured it out, like obviously my heart shattered. I felt sick to the stomach, but I acted just normal the next day. But once I picked her up from school, we were supposed to go shopping, and that's when I confronted her, and I was like, "Look, I don't care how and what the reason was what you texted that guy, but do keep in mind, going from love to hating somebody, this is the way that I can flip a switch right away with me. So whether you're going to be real with me or you're going to be real with him, I'm going to leave that to you to decide. But I'm not going to put up with this shit. So I'm going to leave the decision to you." And she said, "I want you." It's like, okay, if you want me, that's great. But then I want you to remove this guy from all of your social media. Not only this guy, but his entire family, his uncles, his mom, his dad, I don't even fucking know his 12 other sisters. And for my part, but I don't want you to have any contact with his family. And so she did. She blocked all of them on social media and on everything that I know so far. So I was fine by then.
Yeah,
That's what, okay, you did
but
this. I can start gaining your trust. I can start gaining trust back. Yeah.
but was it ever really like enough? Because don't you think that what you asked for shouldn't have been happened in the first place.
It definitely shouldn't have been happened, of course not. But people, when they are not feeling well, I guess, do shitty things,
Hmm.
not always fully on purpose, in my opinion. And obviously, I'm trying to see the better of it. I mean, we were together almost a year, like, am I gonna decide, like, after spending an entire year with each other almost every single day, like, okay, I'm gonna throw it away now all of a sudden? No, I don't want to do that because obviously my feelings for her are, I love this girl. We have been through so many other shit. We
Hmm.
have fought everything you can fought, and we started from like our families literally hating each other. So,
Hmm.
geez, why is that so big?
I'm trying new things. Continue, Kareem. Don't mind me. You
Yeah, but
keep to
so
your.
I
This is
feel
great.
like
Like I won't. I'm not here to interrupt him. I always interrupt people, and if Kareem is doing the moderating, I can just relax and go drink my water.
the reasons why I'm asking my questions is because I feel like I could relate to your situation on so many levels. And it was a really hard pill to swallow for me, but I feel like at a certain point, I realized, why would I go an extra mile for someone who wouldn't do the same for me? Like, why would
Yeah,
I give them this much of like love and forgiveness and a lot of sleepless nights, even when they wouldn't do the same for me? And when you said that you've been together for a year and like you've been through a lot, I feel like it should have been like going both ways, right?
yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that, don't you think that you thinking this way, and like actually giving her a chance was a little bit like unfair to you?
Obviously, I think it's unfair because thinking back of the type of text that she sent to the guy, it felt to me as if my heart just got shattered to a million pieces. She obviously was 4 years younger than me, so there is an age gap.
Mm,
Um, sort of like she still would be, I could say, a little immature on certain parts, the way
mm,
that she should think or the way that she acts. But figuring that out really hurt me. Um, the fact that I could forgive her again is just, I don't want to toss something away now because I'm attached to her. I gave so much from myself, and seeing her blocking all of those people was like a sign of, okay, she wants to work on what she did and she wants to be better for me, you know.
yeah, but I mean, like when you were talking with Bon and you said you were coming back from this trip, and she said she wants to go to this festival, you said that you didn't want her to go, and you're kind of worried that there's a lot
Kareem,
of
I love you, Kareem. I love you.
So the reason I didn't want her to go to this festival is because for the past, in that time, 2 weeks, I barely saw her. So in August, I had to work. The first 2 weeks of August, I had to work. Then the last 2 weeks of August, I had 2 weeks off. And in those
Mm,
2 weeks, she was off work as well. So we were together hanging around. Now, the moment of that I started working again, which was 4th of September, she, the last time I saw her was in the early mornings, right before I left to work. And then I didn't see her till like 4 days later on Thursday. Even though I was home all the time, like she was hanging out with this person and with that person and doing all kinds of stuff, and I let her go because I don't mind. But
mm,
then she sent me a text like saying, "Do you still want to have a relationship with me?" And I
mm,
found this really odd coming from her because I mean, I'm working and I'm home. I wasn't going anywhere. I asked her like where she was hanging out or what she was gonna do, and
mm,
that really annoyed me. So we got into an argument, afterwards we talked it out and the weekend was fine. And then as soon as the weekend was over, she found that same pattern again of like going away from the early mornings till the late evenings, barely texting me. When I text her, like really short answers, promising to come over, eventually don't come over and hang out with other people again and just leaving me hanging. So when this is going on for 2 weeks and then suddenly you're saying like I'm gonna go to this festival, means to me like, look, you've been acting shady. We talked about it. You've been acting shady again. I don't want you to go.
Mm.
And it might just be me, but you can be free to go to parties, in my opinion, to festivals as much as you want to, right? In a relationship, it's all about giving and taking, right? But there's also has to be like a common sense of like, look, you cannot just do only what you want to do in this relationship. If there's something your partner doesn't want you to do, you should at least have respect for that and just do as he says for once.
Mm.
And that's not me that I'm trying to control her at all. That's just me saying, like, look, I know what goes on festivals. I've been to plenty of festivals to either party or when I'm working, when I have to film a festival as a job, right? I've seen so much shit going on from people literally like making out with this person to the next person. And
Yeah.
you know where things can go. And I think in a relationship, you shouldn't go when your partner doesn't want you to go. And you should have some respect in that sense. And she didn't give it to me. She
Okay,
just
wait. I've been so quiet. Haven't I been good, you guys? Are you proud of me?
Yeah.
didn't we have this rule that you have to stick up your hand before you talk? I thought
Oh
Karim.
shit. Okay, fuck.
Go ahead, Bonnie.
I would like to say that nothing.
You're baffled.
Continue. I'll interrupt again.
Such a waste of time. Continue, Karim.
Yeah. So, do you feel like in this relationship,
Oh, I remember now.
you felt like this is the kind of
Well,
love? No.
Bonnie.
you can't tell people where to go and where not to go. We talked about this last time. Like, I've been to plenty of festivals and never made out with anybody. There's groups of people who get drunk and just are looking for that attention that I spoke about earlier, are looking to fill that hole inside. They look super cute on the outside, but they feel like shit on the inside. They feel only good when they have these close romantic relationships because we suck each other off all day. We're like, we're up each other's ass all day. It feels so good. We love it. I'm one of those people too. I'm a relationship person, but I don't have that problem of like going to the festival and getting lost in the crowd and making out with people. I don't do that shit. So there's a type of person who does that shit. And like I used to go on trips with my friends. They would always we'd go to the clubs or Vegas. They'd hook up. I would never, because I don't like that shit. Like, that's not hot to me, but I'm not shaming on it. Like, I've had maybe a couple of randos,
Ooh, wait. I want to more. I want to know more now, Bonnie. Okay.
No, I mean, but I'm saying like
did you lay the pipe? Come on. I want to know.
there's a group of people that you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, there are some people that you'll always have to worry about. I had a friend who was like, oh, if my man leaves me and goes on a trip, like I can't trust myself. Like I need this and that and the other. So you just have to know your people, like
I can agree to a certain extent to what you're saying, Bonnie. And like I said, I don't mind there on regular occasions to going out.
I want to be able to trust my partner to go wherever the fuck and get hit on by whoever, and I don't have to worry that somebody is, you know what I mean, gonna threaten that. Because if you're with somebody and you're giving your all, you shouldn't have to worry about that, right? And if somebody's out there doing you dirty and like, then that shit ain't cool,
Totally. But
so it's like the fact that it's even a fear. I think Karim will get there. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up now. I'm gonna mute myself again.
I think given to the fact of how the past 2 weeks and that was going on, that's the reason I just didn't want her to go, because my gut feeling saying there is something off. You cannot just be with each other like for 2.5 years straight, like every single day almost, and then suddenly taking distance for 2 weeks and then also expecting them to be okay with going partying. Like there are certain boundaries in that level. If she would have asked me throughout the year, like, "Hey, tomorrow is going to be a festival over there. Is it okay if I go?" I would have said 100%, "Yeah, you can go." Or if you want to go clubbing, go clubbing. Do your thing.
Hmm.
Enjoy. Have the time of your life. Enjoy. I trust her. But the fact
Hmm.
that she was being shady for 2 weeks, in my opinion, um, just didn't want me to go because I knew if she would go, like shit was gonna happen. That's what my
Hmm.
gut said, and which
Yeah.
also has been confirmed as of yesterday. I'm not sure if you heard the entire part of me talking, but yesterday I was out with a mutual friend of ours, and they used to be really close friends as well, and she told me that before, while we're still dating, she was texting that same guy again that we talked about earlier.
Hmm.
And my gut feeling says that that's going to be the entire reason that this shit just went to bed
Yeah.
and got out of hand, I guess.
So, so you said that you've had gut feelings at this point that something is wrong, and you were
Yeah.
worried that from about her going to this festival, if something would go wrong. Do you feel that back when she claimed what she claimed against you? Did you have like a gut feeling that you chose to ignore for the sake of loving her?
So is what you mean that I ignored the fact that she pressed charges against me because I loved her?
No, what I mean is that deep down, you knew that this relationship wouldn't work, but because you love her, you decided to give her another chance.
I don't know. So if we look at the end of our relationship, I would say that deep down I knew something would go wrong if she's suddenly, like taking a big distance away from me. And I just wanted to avoid this entire situation.
Hmm.
So let's say, imagine she didn't text that guy, and let's say I let her go to the festival, then I would have probably, or now I'm saying this wrong. Let's say she didn't text that guy and she didn't go to the festival. I mean, it would have been a time that we should have a chat again, talk about what's actually going on, and trying to see like why are we acting different suddenly.
Hmm.
Trying to figure it out like we always did. We've always been super good in communicating with each other from day
Yeah.
one. Whatever the person didn't like, we would just straight up tell each other, work on it, fix it, move on.
Hmm.
And I would have seen it as if we were in this period again that she was stressing out because she had to go to like a new college and stuff.
Which day
And
one? Day one, where she was always, wasn't she always doing some other shit from day one?
no, but what I'm trying to say is from day one
Wait,
of
wait. When do we know? When in the relationship do we know that she stepped out? How far into the relationship?
I don't know,
No, I mean, like, at what point in the relationship did you catch her doing something the first time?
a year.
1 year?
Yeah.
And then you had caught it back to before that, right?
So I think like 3 months after I caught her, she added the guy again on Snapchat, and
But that
she
was after 1 year of being together, right? Or did you
so
know?
I what?
I'm trying to see when's kind of the first time, I guess, that you found out some shit.
So the
How
first time
far?
I found out was 1 year.
Okay. So up until that point, and at the 1 year mark, what you found out was from how long ago?
Dead periods, like couple days.
So it was new.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. And up to that point, everything was fine. You guys are communicating well, and you're just in love.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm out.
Yeah. So another question is that, like until like things went so bad and you decided like, okay, this is not gonna work, you know.
Mm.
um would you say that since the first incident the relationship didn't feel safe?
No. So between now and the first incident, we've had so many great moments together still, like accomplishments together,
Yeah.
um, goals that we're trying to reach. So many things that we've done together in all those times. From going to holidays, like going to Italy to where my family comes from, showing her around in actually Venice, where literally my roots are, um, to doing so many other stuff together. Like the relationship was great.
Mhm.
There was nothing to complain about. There was no weird feelings. There was no, there was nothing. There's nothing that gave me a sign as of until the end of the relationship that something was suddenly really off.
So would you say that it was like the dream relationship where it's like fulfilling the, the fantasy we have about love? Like I knew Bonds mentioned before that she was like such a motivation for you to work on your agency and excel more in your career and becoming successful. And like you said, now you still had really great moments where you like traveled and you did a lot of like things that people would dream of doing.
Right.
So would you think that you were holding more and onto the fantasy you were projecting on the relationship rather than the quality of the relationship itself?
Mm, that's a really tough question to answer. Um, if I look in general of the love that we had for each other and the support that we had through the entire relationship, um, it never felt like it was a one-sided thing. I am not the most physical touch person I could, like, I mean, I don't mind hugging and cuddling, but I wouldn't be the guy to like continuously walk hand in hand on streets. I like to go my own way.
Hmm.
And she was the one that always wants to be super physical and hugging and kissing. And even at night when it's almost 100 degrees outside and like you're boiling, sweaty hot, she would be like jumping into bed, claiming and sticking herself to my body by hugging me and cuddling me all night long while I'm just there drenched in sweat. And you get the idea. So,
Yeah, I
Well, who
do.
doesn't like that? Who doesn't like to be all cuddled up on? I think everybody likes a nice cuddle. Okay, bye.
oh no, not when it's like 100 degrees outside. Like I'm gonna be like, girl, scoot over to the other side of the bed. I'm
Oh, it's
sticking
100 degrees? Then hell no. Get the fuck out of my room.
exactly. And she would be the girl to like take my blanket, put the blanket over me, and then stick her to my body. And I was like, well, I'm dying. I'm literally dying. Scoot over. So other than that, like love came from both ways, and it always has been.
Hmm. Yeah, but I feel like, but what is the idea of love that we have? Because is it like feeling secure and with someone, or is it like the idea, the other idea that we have that is about like going places and, like cuddling all night and
Mhm.
sleepovers?
So my idea of love is being together with this person through whatever shit comes to bat, like through thick and thin, to have the security of being to with each other, to have the like knowing that you can trust this person through thick and thin, them having your back, but also in combination with the physical stuff of the hugs and the cuddling,
Hmm.
like looking forward to a better future together, you know. That's what
Yeah.
I see and look and love.
Hmm. Yeah. Like, I really feel what you're saying because, like, speaking from my personal experience after my last breakup, it took me some time to, like, know how to sleep because every time I would go to sleep, I would be thinking about every time she was like laying next to me and how great it felt. And I would even sometimes blame myself for not enjoying it more. But at the same time, what I realized is that, well, at a certain point of time, I had a feeling that this is not going to work. And I knew that it will end sooner or later. But I still went all in for it with like blood, sweat, and tears because it was so fulfilling. Like we traveled and we had a lot in common, and for the very first time, I felt like I was seen and accepted for just who I am, without masks, without any layers on me. Um, But after things ended, I was like, I'm glad we had this time together. But I knew that I couldn't sacrifice safety and like sleeping well at night without worrying whether this person is gonna stay or not, or wondering about what are they doing.
Hmm.
So yeah, like that's basically the reason why I'm asking you these questions, because I really wanted to know if you have ever like felt the same and ignored your gut feelings, because like just as Bonnie said, which is I billion% agree with, our guts always know, but sometimes the fantasy is so tempting that we choose to ignore our guts and like just jump into it.
Well, throughout the entire relationship, like I said, there's only been like one, maybe two occasions that my gut was saying something that was off.
Hmm.
But it was never my gut saying like me and her is never gonna work out. I mean, I knew from where she came in her life and where we were heading. Um, I never had a thought of like, yeah, between me and her, it's never gonna work out because communicating between each other was always on point. The support for each other was on point. If we had a fight, it would be talked about and fixed within the same day. We wouldn't sleep over it, or we wouldn't go to sleep without talking about what happened and fixing it, you know?
Hmm.
Never did that. That was just a rule. Like, look, if we have a fight, no matter how bad it
Sounds
gets,
like you had the perfect relationship.
you sip your water. No, but that's just how in general it was. Like, okay, we had like at the very early stages had like arguments, and then we would go to bed, and we just
Hmm.
figured out like that's not right. We want to have this to work out. We're going to talk about it, no matter what time it is, no matter what we have to do the next day. We're not going to go sleep until we give each other a hug and a kiss, and that everything is forgiven and talked about. You
Hmm.
know, that's how we've always operated until the very last moment. We always did it through that way. So no, my gut feeling never had a feeling of like it's not going to work out. Obviously, there are certain aspects in a relationship of your partner or of her that I might not have always enjoyed in such a thing. As an example, I'm a guy that sees positivity in everything. Whatever negative thing happens, I know there's a positive thing behind it. It's either going to be a lesson that we're learning or a new opportunity right around the corner.
Yeah.
And then one thing I disliked
Does,
about her,
does too much positivity turn into denial?
I don't know.
I don't either.
You tell
Or
me.
I would ask another question. Is it too much positivity that is like a distraction from feeling the bad feelings?
I don't know. I've always been a guy that sees positive things in everything. I
Mm,
mean, because knowing from where she was with her own mental health, that she used to be depressed, is also like a sign of like whatever negative thing came on her path, she would clamp onto that negativity like really hard.
mm,
She
Don't
wouldn't
talk
be able.
about her. Don't talk about her.
Okay, like that's just how it is. You get the idea. Like one thing could go bad in her day, and like everything would be bad. And
yeah.
then for something bad would happen, and I would be like able to pick it up, put it aside, focus on the next thing, focus on the
Mm,
next goal or task or whatever, and
yeah.
see what I put next to me as something that I'll learn from. Take it as an
Mm,
experience.
yeah. Actually, Bon, I have a question for you because you mentioned the point, and I read some Instagram post about it as well. Is that like these kind of people do attract each other, and I really wonder like why.
Can you hold that thought? I'm just peeing my dog real quick, but can you hear me good if I do this? And I just need to. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's mostly because when somebody is very overly either angry or emotional or stressed out or just takes up a lot of space, it
Mm,
causes whoever's around them to usually withdraw internally so then they don't take up a lot of space. And then for some odd reason, when we grow up into our romantic relationships, usually those relationships usually happen with our parents. Somebody's more dominant, somebody's more submissive, and then that just keeps happening for some reason in our relationships. It's something I was talking about before. It's like knit into the fabric of the family, and then
mm,
it's something familiar, and then we just reenact that attachment wound.
yeah. That's really crazy to think about. So yeah, now like you haven't been in contact with her for some time. How do you think this relationship has like affected your relationship with yourself and your idea about love?
So her being out of my life from the moment that we broke up put me into like a really painful situation for a couple weeks. You
Mm,
know, like you mentioned as well before, like she was sleeping right next to me every single day. Suddenly, it's every single day it's empty.
yeah.
From sleeping on literally the edge of the bed because she's taking up all the space to suddenly having an entire bed free. It's just a really odd feeling.
Mm,
There are moments that when we broke up and I would read the text, literally being able to hear her voice, how she's talking. Obviously I was looking like through text and the positive tags and the good times. I can literally see the moments in front of me. I can hear her talk. I can see and hear and feel the joy that we had. So from her being gone after we broke up and to cutting out all contact, really messed up me for a while.
mm,
It might sound really stupid, but after yesterday, like it was the first time that I actually went out with friends and people again. And then also hearing what was actually going on, I was really able to just move on from this chapter now. Like I had a gut feeling, something got confirmed, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm not gonna sit here now and cry of all the other things of that what happened. have happened while she is out partying every single day now with people and just continuing with her life. I'm not like that. I've never been like that, and it has to end now. And as of yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm working out again. I'm focused on what my business goals are. Have this hunger again of improving myself innerly and outwardly, like losing weight and stuff like that. I that's what my
Hmm.
drive is, and it's not going to be a temporary drive because I know that I just don't want to be together with her anymore.
Yeah.
We still have each other on social media, and I'm. This might sound like a real foolish thing to do, and Bonnie would probably say like, "Don't lower your standards. You're doing this. You know better, my guy." But uh, what I'm trying to say is like, she made me feel really shit when we broke up. She gave me the feeling of it was all my fault, and she's now enjoying her life for hopefully as long as it's gonna last. But I know that myself, and I know how I'm improving myself, that I'll get over this and even higher. And
Yeah.
I rather have her see now, like, look at what you lost. And that's the image that I'm trying to portray to her now. Like, you have
Oh,
hurt
so
me.
it's a
Really,
revenge. It's revenge success.
yeah, 100% revenge success. Like, okay, you knew you'd throw away a lot of shit with me because I would have fought for a relationship and for you to have a comfortable life and our children in the future have a comfortable life. I would be
Don't
working my
worry,
ass.
Marino. There's a lot where that came from. That's a dime a dozen. Everybody wants children and whatever you said.
Yeah, but I didn't want to have children right off the bat with her. I told her I want to be able to have children with you once that
Imagine if you would have had a child with her.
yeah, imagine. I mean, she is nothing of me. That child is from me. So, I mean, it's going to be the child over her any day. Might sound silly, but that's my thought. But right now, I feel like as I'm able to just move on from what I learned yesterday, focus on the new goals, I know there's going to be a turning point in events that she's going to come back to me and she's going to reach out to me again. And that's
Hmm.
when I want to just, shove it up her face like, look what you've done to me. Look what you're now bagging. You enjoy your silly, shitty life, but you're no longer
Okay,
with.
okay, relax.
We're good. I'm calm.
Yeah. So, um, do you feel like now you feel more motivation than you were in the relationship to like do more and work on your goals and your ambitions?
I would say yes. And a reason behind that is like I am a workhorse. Like if I'm working and I'm focused on something, I'm going there all in or not.
Hmm.
What are you
I'm not
avoiding?
gonna play. And there has been occasions that I on purposely let certain business goals slide to make time free for her,
Hmm.
which would have put me in such a different financial situation as well.
Yeah.
There's been times, as an example, one I'm working on a video and I'm editing it, and she would sit here right next to me, that she would continuously ask for my attention, even though I told her prior to her coming over, like, look, I have to finish this video. I'm really sorry, but this is important. If you want to come over, you can come over, but I gotta work. And she was continuously trying to grab my attention away of like doing my actual task that was going on.
Hmm.
So yeah,
All right, guys,
I
I have to wrap it up in like 10 minutes, so
okay.
I have to get on a call.
Yeah. Gezellig. You're doing so great
I have a real job, by the way, which I have to do today.
today. Isn't it a bit late for your job, Bonnie?
No, what do you mean? The trauma never sleeps, bro. Okay, finish up. I'll be back.
Yeah. So it's really great. Like it's something that I've learned that breakups are like a major turning point, and they can totally change your like timeline in a way. Like they can be a huge turning point, and I'm really excited for yours, for real.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And yeah, like best revenge is success, and you'll get there.
I I really appreciate this. I'm only 25 years old. I started my own business when I was 19, and ever since I started my business, people around me, they've really been pulling me down with every string that they could have, with every trick in the book, with
Yeah.
negative advice. And, you know, I rarely get any compliment for accomplishments that I do, but I do get every criticism of everything or every step that I take, which would be worse. You know what I mean? Like, I make one mistake and I've everybody telling me what I should do and complain and give me advice to quit.
Who are these
Well,
people?
family and friends, not
Oh, you
even
have
joking.
such cool family and friends.
My mom, my dad, my brother, well, definitely my sister. Like, she's right on top. Like, I can tell her something like, yeah, by the end of this month, I have to pay 7,000 in taxes. Woo! You gotta see her reaction when I said, "Well, I don't have 7,000 in the bank account right now."
Mm.
I mean, it's stupid, but there's been things in the past that hurt me financially. Like, I crashed my car, I leased a new car, the company went bankrupt. I had to buy a new car. So in a year time, I almost lost 20,000 euros of my own savings.
Yeah.
And I was 22 years old. So I lost a lot of money. So whenever I told her, like, look, I don't have the 7K in my bank account, even though I have to pay 7K by the end of this month. I mean, I'll get there. I'll figure out a way. Like, I've always figured it out. And just by if I tell her that, like, all the negativity and saying that I should just work for a boss, do my 9 to 5, and I'm not about that.
Yeah.
I've always survived on my own thing, and I know I can survive.
That's like totally understandable. Like going against the current is probably one of the hardest things ever, but it's also the most rewarding. So,
Yeah,
yeah, you're just doing the right thing. I feel like when people just do that, um, I feel like it just comes from a place of self reflection because they know that it's so hard. And I feel like some of them even wish they could do it, but they just like give in to,
there's so many people that prefer to hold on to security
yeah,
instead of taking a risk. And everybody can start a business and everybody can do whatever they desire to do if they really want to do it. And I support that 100,000%. If
yeah,
you tell me tomorrow, look, Marino, I want to become a lawyer, like, I'm gonna tell you, bro, Kareem, go for it. You can be a lawyer. You want to do this, go get it, man. Do it. But then there's people that don't want to take that leap of faith and they clam to being in the place of having financial steadiness, working for a boss. But what they don't see essentially is what if the business goes bad suddenly and
and
you
it
yeah,
happens. We saw
it
like a
happens.
lot of big companies laying people over, and like
Yes, it
there is
happens every
nothing
single
secure
day,
about
and they're blinded by the social benefits that they get instead of imagine if you're doing the same thing as what you're doing for your boss. Like, you could earn triple the amount of money of doing that, just looking for a financial thing. But you have to be willing to do it.
it. Yeah.
And there's
You
gonna
have
be
to be
times.
willing to put in the effort and to do the
Yeah.
work.
There's this really cool quote that I heard, and it was from Denzel Washington. I put it on my story. I'm not sure if it's still there, but I gotta like show this.
Are you about to quote Denzel? What do you know about Denzel, little boy?
Give me 1 second. How can I do this? If I make a new story and add, here it is. Next,
What do you know about Denzel, little boy?
I want you to listen to this quote, and this just perfectly describes.
Am I muted or are you guys just ignoring me?
Without goals, or just dreams, come on, ultimately, they fuel disappointment. On the road to achieving your dreams, you must apply discipline, but more importantly,
It's hard to hear it.
Yeah.
without commitment, you'll never start, but without
I can read
consistency,
it.
you'll never finish. Dreams without goals.
That's the entire point of how I see things.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Were you able to hear it, or could you just
Yeah.
read it? Oh, you could hear it. Okay. So yeah.
I couldn't really hear it. Can you repeat what the point was?
Bonnie, dreams
No,
without
I'm
goals are just dreams.
No, I'm
And
serious.
ultimately,
I'm serious. I'm
if
serious.
I
Say
was
it.
reading it off.
Oh, your voice is a little bit. Yeah. Can you speak a little more clearly?
Wait, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, dreams without goals are just dreams. And ultimately, they fuel disappointment. Exactly on the road to achieving your dreams, you must apply discipline, but more importantly, consistency, because without commitment, you'll never start. But without consistency, you'll never finish.
That's
Amen.
right.
So, yeah,
I like it.
I love it. It's the story of my life.
Yeah, it's all about consistency and actually starting with whatever step.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody today. It's a girl, and she replied to my story because I had to like interview a bunch of known actors here in Belgium, and I just like, posted on my story like I love my job, and so I explained to her what I do, and she was like saying, "Yeah, I really want to get into photography. I just don't have funds or a camera or whatever." And I was like, "Look, you might not have funds right now, but if there's something that you really want to do, work for buying that camera, find a secondhand laptop for like $100. It might not have been the fastest laptop, so just so you get started.
Yeah.
Start working doing free photography, do like portrait shots or couple shots with your family, with your friends, build a portfolio, and then just start charging money little by little. That's how I started with
Entrepreneur on the rise, guys. Entrepreneur on the rise.
No, but like at her being right now
That's
without
the kind
a
of
job.
mentality. That's I'm saying that's the kind of mentality if you're trying to build some shit.
Yes,
Yeah, I
but
mean, that
I
is
told her like she was all talking about look, I don't have the funds for this, and I don't have this, and I cannot do this. I said, stop making excuses. You want to do it, you make sure that you're going to do it. But I don't know how the camera works. I said, easily. You pick up the camera and you start using it. That's the
Yeah.
only way you're gonna figure it out. You can make excuses for everything, and as long as you're making excuses, you're never gonna achieve the goals that you truly desire. So if you're desiring to do this as a job, you have to work for it. You have to put in the hours to work for free, build something up, and then start charging a little by little. And you start off by charging $50 for a shoot, and 2 years from now on, you're gonna charge $200 for a single shoot, as an example, or $500. And that's the ultimate goal you want to achieve. And I just changed her mindset. Like right now, when I was talking to her, from first having excuses to now her being like super motivated to start working, saving up for the camera, and start going, getting her shit together, basically.
That's how Yes Theory. I remember that their 506 house. 506. I don't know why I like
Was
to
it
do
a
that.
really fancy garden?
It was just a very cute little house, a very old school little house in Venice. They have since torn it down. I don't know if you guys saw it on my personal stories. They've since torn it down and built some crazy modern, as they're doing, shit over there. So that's interesting. But yeah, they were in that house.
They had some artists coming in to like decorate the entire place and like paint some stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they did both houses. Yeah, and then the Yes house that they're at now is another cool little place. If you guys come down, I'll take you there before they're going to be out of there probably in a few years.
I'm putting like a flight ticket to California on my list.
Okay, like I said, Bonnie, I wanted to come in the summer to LA now that I'm single again. But you're in Europe, so I might as well stay in Europe when you're in Belgium.
I'm going to be coming to Belgium. I got to visit some friends next summer for sure. They just had a bunch of babies. They have like 20 babies over there. I have to go visit. I have to go kiss some babies and shake some hands.
I'm in Belgium, so if you want to come out, like, you know.
Hell yeah. Because you said you're like an hour from
Brussels.
Brussels, right? Yeah. And I want to go into some little remote towns and stuff, if you would.
Oh yeah,
like a little village, a little green village with no screens and no Instagram.
Okay, yeah, I know the perfect place. So when you're in Brussels, it's like almost of being downtown LA. It's hectic. It's homeless people on drugs.
I've been there. Yes, it's that's why my friends live in Liedekerke.
Liedekerke of Nieuwekerke?
Liedekerke. It's a little town. It's like 20 minutes from Brussels.
Okay, as long as it's not Molenbeek, it's good.
Hey, don't talk shit. I don't know what that means. We're not talking shit. Shut up.
No, but like Molenbeek is another like place in the vicinity of Brussels, and like cops don't even go there. They know that shit's rough.
Oh shit! Then I need to go there.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go there. You're gonna.
I do want to go there. What are you talking about?
You're gonna.
I come from war, homie. I'm gonna go there. What's it called?
Molenbeek.
Molenbeek. All right, we're going. All right, guys. Thank you so much for doing this. This was amazing. I didn't even know it was going to be so good. Everything has been unfolding so nicely. It's like I'm 4 different personalities in my different platforms. I love it. If you guys both follow me on my private Instagram, it's like, oh, who's that? Who's that? Who's that?
Which one is your private one? Because I'm getting so confused now between your 2 accounts.
Oh, now Karim's talking shit.
I you like 5 accounts.
Karim, I thought you were the nice one, but now you've learned from Moreno. See how easily people learn other people's bad behavior so quickly?
No, this is just like a form of love.
Thank you. Thank you for the rough love. What is it? What do they call it? Tough love.
Tough love.
Rough love could be something different. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And I don't know. I don't really post too much. You know, I only post this like once on my shit. So post it on Yes Theory's fan pages. And I think people will like to see this. I think a lot of people are going to relate to this. Yes, spam it up because I'm not doing shit. I got to go to work right now.
All right.
All good.
Love you guys. But yeah, I'm down to do this again whenever you guys want. And you guys have each other's info now. You can chat it up. And yeah, I'll talk to you both soon.
See ya.
Ciao.